this, and you know, um, I've been in hiding. Part of my thing is anti-corporate, but I have a background in computer science. I'm an entrepreneur. I had a real estate company that sold. I actually sold a tech company to Allergan, and I got into trading back in 2009. And since then, I kind of went anti-corporate and developed a mastermind lifestyle group. And really, the goal was to empower people to be able to trade the markets independently. And, I believe the markets are manipulated. I believe that they want control of our finances and the control of our lives. And so, for me, it was a desire to help people have alternative way. And through trading, I think it provides some hope where they can one day take control. There's no racism, colorism, ageism, sexism. When you're in the markets, you have full opportunity. And, with my background being computer science, I've always used technology in trading. But with the, introduction of AI, it's totally empowered the traders that I have inside the mastermind where it's giving them like technical analysis on steroids. And, I have traders that are Forex traders, option traders, future traders, and crypto traders. In 2017, my focus was crypto, and I built a pretty big following in the crypto space. And as it evolved and as the government has gotten control, our traders have been able to go to different markets and trade options and stocks. And I've created a system with AI to actually educate and train traders a lot faster, where they're able to use technical analysis and risk management and actually have more clarity and confidence using AI to trade. And so we apply this, I call it a 360 program where you should be able to trade any assets because the information is there, the intelligence of explaining the market and seeing the order flow. Before we had to pay for a lot of tools and information and data that we didn't have available to us. But now with AI, you can actually request that information. So to understand the fundamental of trading, it applies to all markets. And this is something that, I'm passionate about because it allowed me to, right now I'm in Las Vegas. I'm at the Bitcoin conference in a hotel, and I trade live every morning. And you guys are able to follow, and we're able to share, how we're using the tools. And I like to say, we don't gatekeep the information. And this information is empowering as you see it live. So instead of just trading and giving videos, I like to say that we like to demonstrate it in execution. There's a lot of information out in the world. Information is everywhere. You have it on Google and YouTube, but a lot of people don't know how to implement and execute when they get the information. And that's kind of our focus in all the markets. And to be able to determine within 5 or 10 minutes, the direction of the market and feel confident about it. So I know we've had trading rehab. That's something that Zia and Courtney and I think, Megan, we invited you years ago, which was to actually have traders in the room and do it in person. And so, that's something that I've been passionate about in the last few years of having actually live trading events, getting guys together, because I believe in community. I believe real wealth is relationships. And it is, once you have the knowledge and you have relationships, you have a ton of wealth because, we're all here. The money is just transferred from one person to the next when we expire. But the relationships and the power of community, it spreads. And I think that is, the things I'm really passionate about is each one can teach one, and we can keep spreading this wealth, information, and also life experience. So the things that we do in AI and trading is really to enhance the experience of life. I haven't worked in a corporation or for the last 20 years. And it is, empowering to navigate, life in the semi-retirement. I take 2 hours, 3 hours every morning to trade. It is lifestyle. I don't feel like it's work. I'll be in Vegas for the next 3 or 4 days, and then I'm going to Thursday flight with my daughter to go see the World Series softball. And, it gives us, it's really empowering to spend time with the family. And I think that's how you change the world, is the more that we can spend time with people, raised our family. We make the world a better place. And one of the things we need is resources. And, for me, I've taken trading as my vehicle to empower and have more freedom. And I want to share that, what we do through AI on this platform, and, let other people experience this as well. And so on that note, that is my story, and what I'm passionate about, and what I plan to bring is AI education and AI information and trading, and how to actually apply it and implement it as a new trader or experienced trader to enhance what you're doing to, make it faster.
Well, and keyword, everybody talks about, speed, like they want to make the money. So I want to jump in and just ask you guys some questions, because I know it's 1:41 on here. You're in Vegas. I know Barnaby, you're doing a million things as well. We got a lot of projects going on, but I just want to dive into some questions. And if you guys can I do this thing called rapid fire. I do it with the group where I'm going to ask you a question. I'm giving you like 45 seconds to a minute, right? And to try to answer this question, it's because we can be on here all day, and we just want to give people a taste. So there's 490 people on here. Our focus, guys, is not to get on here and you're going to learn everything. It's to wet your whistle. Okay. It's to show you what's going to be possible. But as an educator, ladies and gentlemen, we have Zia, which you guys are going to hear from later on this week. She's our director of education. She did a podcast with Jamar. And Jamar, that's what got me thinking. I listened to that podcast with you, our director of education, and then Courtney Logan, which you guys heard from. And I'm like, can we get him? Do you think he'll come over? And so my question for both of you guys, you have about 45 seconds to a minute. In your opinion, right? We have a large organization of people who are baby boomers, maybe not tech savvy, maybe scared of crypto, don't know how to get their wallets, not that I'm beating you guys up on this call, but you don't, right? They don't know the basics. Just getting them to even get a wallet was kind of a challenge. In your opinion, how is knowledge of crypto and AI going to create a new class of entrepreneurs? Like, why is this the best time for everybody to learn, not just the 18-year-olds, but the 88-year-olds as well? Who wants to go first? You got like 45 seconds to a minute. Why do you think it's the best time for everybody?
Yeah, I mean, there's a huge transition, and there's a lot of fear out there, and it creates opportunity and adapting. The world's going to move, without you or with you. You have a choice. And I think, the first step is, once you embrace that, everything changes, and nothing will change for you unless you change. And so AI is an opportunity for you to actually expedite the change. And it doesn't matter if you are timid. It's the same thing with social media and Facebook. It was a time that people were resistant and saying, "Oh, social media," and now everyone is on it. Same thing with Zoom meetings. The technology brings us a lot of opportunity. When we think about how many people are on this call now, everyone is using some type of information. Well, when you have it at your fingertips, you also have the quality of your questions determine the quality of your life, I like to say. And whatever question you have access to the answer. And so I believe that, if you've experienced any pain and you have a desire to spend more time with your kids, to make more money, you embrace the information and you will be making progress. And that's kind of my take in 45 seconds.
I love that. Write that in the chat, guys, because I'm going to make you take notes. I want to see it. Embrace. You really have to embrace the knowledge. I told people when they do go into these classes, don't go into a class with, "Oh my God, I have no idea what they're talking about." I always go into a class saying, "Man, I have no idea what they're talking about," which means I'm learning and I'm taking notes. So you guys embrace the knowledge. What do you think, Barnaby? Right? Why is it now the best time to learn?
Well, a couple of things. Firstly, it's always the best time to learn, right? Always, no matter what year it is and no matter what's going on. But just jumping back to, there's a few things that Jamar said that were really great. Back when he gave his intro, one of them was that just like with trading, where there's no differentiator. You know, when you're making those moves in the markets, it's not checking, you know, how old you are, you know, or what race you are or gender. None of that matters. And it's the same with tech. And now, thanks to AI, I mean, I've basically been waiting for AI all my life. I didn't quite realize that was the case, but I spent the last 2 years building out CFIRE, my crypto educational academy, because I really wanted to scale. I never wanted to be the one who was going to be called upon, you know, 24/7, every day of the week, people asking questions. I wanted to make that digital twin of myself, but I couldn't until this last year. So only right now has this seismic change suddenly happened where, guess what? You know, there are people who are launching there's so many ways to make money with tech, and especially with AI now. People are launching entire YouTube channels with, you know, deep fakes or AI versions of themselves. Or guess what? If they want to pick a target market and they want to, you know, they want to sell jewelry to young people, but they're a guy like me, you know, they can basically create an avatar. You can use AI now, or they might want to do market research in ways like what Jamar was saying before, where the market data wasn't even available before. Basically, a huge amount of opportunity that was just never available before has suddenly landed in all of our laps. And the CEO, the guy who's fronting and running OpenAI, ChatGPT, the biggest AI company in the world, you know, basically, Sam Altman, he literally said in the last 6 months that very soon, in the next year or two, there will be the first $1 billion+ company that is run. This is going to freak everybody out. Run by one person with a massive AI army of 10,000 bots. So we are approaching the scale of automation, folks. And as Jamar said, you know, you can join this train. We can rail against the storm, but nothing's going to stop this. And so what are you going to do? You're going to be a Luddite, or are you going to join us?
I love that. You know, it reminds me of just a lot of the books that I was teaching to my high school students. And, you know, one of those books, it was Fahrenheit 451, where they didn't want anybody to read and they didn't want any technology. And they wanted everybody to kind of just veg out in one place. And, you know, anybody who was a big thinker was kicked out of that society, basically. And I say that because Vibe, guys, is less of a network marketing company. I keep telling people this, and it's more of like a financial technology company. That's what we are. It's a education highway. And I spent 17 years of my life teaching archaic information to one of the best high schools in the nation, but we were teaching archaic information. We were not jumping in with the times. So what we're going to do, guys, is not be afraid of the knowledge. We're going to embrace it, like Jamar said. We're going to get on the train or we're going to get left behind. I mean, that's just basically what it boils down to. So what are some common mistakes, guys? And again, if you can answer this question in your 45 second to a minute, what are some common mistakes people make when trying to jump into like tech industries or into crypto or AI without proper mentorship that Vibe is going to bring to them? Because I don't know everything, but Jamar, you're going to the World
All right.
Series. Barnaby, you've traveled the world. That's something that I still aspire to do. And you've done it based on the knowledge that you've embraced in this AI crypto tech world. So what are some of those common mistakes that you see people, you know?
I mean, I like to say that, you know, anything that you're learning, especially in the trading space, a lot of people jump to the outcome. They want the money without having the fundamentals and the foundation. So, like for me, I think of anything that you're getting involved in, it has 3 stages. One is the foundation and fundamentals. The second is strategy and clarity. And the third, it becomes lifestyle. Well, a
Okay,
lot
so
of
let's
times
say that
people
one more
want to
time.
live.
Say that one more time.
Third
So
is lifestyle.
foundation.
The first stage is the fundamentals and the foundation, right? It's almost like you building a house. You need to have the game plan. You need to have the blueprint. And then you get the materials and, you know, you got a strategy and you get clarity. And that's the second stage, is strategy and clarity. How do you apply this? How do you put it together? And then the third, it becomes lifestyle. How do you, you know, intertwine it into your life? But, you know, a lot of guys, they skip the first step. You know, you give them a book and they read the first chapter and they skip the rest of it, thinking they know what the book is about. And then they go into actually, building and trying to use it when they didn't get the full picture. And so here we want to lay down the foundation and the fundamentals of AI and the trading. And this way you can actually apply it, and then you have strategy. And as you get clarity, you get confident, and then you have belief. It's hard to do anything if you don't have belief and you have a lot of doubt, right? And so you lay down the foundation, you get that solid foundation where you know that it's possible, and then you see someone do it, and you see the results, and then that allows you to continue to build, and then you turn it into a lifestyle. And so for me, there's no such thing as retirement. There's no such thing as passive income. I'm actively involved in life every day, and so my retirement is already here. I work from anywhere in the world now, and I trade from anywhere in the world, and I do it live, and then I also get off and I also live live, and I'm here with traders now. So they see the lifestyle, they see the strategy, and they see the fundamentals of what we do and how we use it on a daily basis. And that, I think that is the key, is don't skip the fundamentals or the foundation of anything that you're doing. You got to build, you want to build on a solid foundation.
And I love that, because we have our personal development coaches that are going to be jumping in. And my personal development coach myself, Jason Wells, was a professional basketball player, but we talk a lot about fundamentals. Everybody wants the funds. They want the funds without the fundamentals, or they want the fun without the foundation. And it's the same thing in network marketing. It's like people want to jump to making all this money, and they haven't gotten to the stage where they've just learned the basics of being an influencer, or the basics of doing a three-way call, just basic stuff on that end. So thank you, Jamar. I love that, because that's what we're really going to be focusing on for this first year of people being in Vibe. Is we're not in a hurry. Right? We're going to grow with the technology, but we're going to focus on the foundation and fundamentals. So Barnaby, same question for you, just do you see any other, common mistakes people make when they're just trying to jump in too fast, or, without kind of the proper mentorship?
Yeah, there's obviously so many, little and big mistakes that people can make. But I'd say one of them is thinking that, it's all only difficult for you, So really taking a deep breath. And it's a strange thing to think that, is it possible that most people, if not all, actually experience fear about learning something new? And so here I am with my 30 plus years in tech as an entrepreneur. And when I embrace something new, as in like maybe some new system, a platform, building something, some programming language, or a different method of whatever it is, I still experience that. So I have to get myself over that hump. And so I just want to let everybody know that, we share this together, and it does take pushing yourself. And so if you want to stretch, it's a stretch, it's like going to the gym. And so you're not alone in that fear potentially. And inside of that is this other story that you might tell yourself, another mistake. Part of that is that you have to do extra prep before you get started. Like thinking like, oh, I'm going to need to go and go and study over here for a year before I even get started. Or I have to do so many hours before I even start. Not necessarily. And with a lot of this stuff, yes, it is very important to lay the foundation and do some prep. Let's say with paper trading, or just learning with small amounts of money. You don't have to put in $1,000 or $10,000. A lot of this stuff you can start either with just paper trading, or just or even like $50 just to test it out. Like in DeFi, what I'm teaching, you don't have to put in the big money. So you don't have to do all this massive prep, and you can start very small, understanding that whatever you're doing is the learning mechanism you want to prove to yourself, because the number one thing inside of that, and Jamar pointed to it, is getting wins. You got to get the wins, under your belt, because winning is a habit. You have to develop the habit of winning again and again, because if you don't have that, as Jamar mentioned, you lose that confidence, and everything in life is about confidence.
Thank you, Jamar, for saying that too, and Barnaby for touching on that, because if you can't make money with a little, don't need to put a lot in. Where were you guys back in 2021, where I just was like, I'm diving right into this thing? And that's why I tell people I'm a spiritually minded person, but I don't join crypto network marketing companies. Listen, there's 480 of you guys on here. You can do what you want. Do not bring me necessarily a company where I just have to blindly give somebody else my money, right? I know we have our app that we're rolling out because we're connecting with Omni, but people are still in control of their own money. Barnaby, I know that you have are introduced to a lot of platforms, and this is where people are going to be able to sit in your class, Barnaby, sit in your class, Jamar, and be able to chat with you guys and ask questions because you guys are going to be educating over here. Because I needed you a couple years ago when I lost a sizable amount of income. And now looking back though, Jamar, I'm like, what in the world was I thinking? And it really was, I wasn't thinking. I was just trying to, like greed sets in where it's like, oh, I got a little bit more, so I'm just going to jump in.
Yeah.
And we got to really ask the right questions. So can you guys give me a real life example of someone who experienced like a major breakthrough, maybe being connected to you, Jamar? I know you've been teaching forever and you're living life and teaching. You've been teaching forever and living life. Can you
Well,
give me like maybe
I mean,
financial or applying what you guys have learned?
yeah, I mean, my goal is to break people free from their corporate job. I mean, the 9 to 5s. I mean, I have people here in Vegas with me now. They've all left their job, and I tell them that it's not a overnight thing. It's a process, and it's about consistency. And so, like, people have good, like, you can get lucky for a couple of weeks, or you can get lucky, in life, and you can get, but they have consistency, right? It takes time, it takes discipline and focus. And so to live a lifestyle, you have to have belief that, I have belief that I can get my accounts frozen. I've had that definitely with the IRS. Had a real estate company, agents filed, and they said that they were an employees. The IRS froze my funds, and that's what got me into crypto. And it got me into crypto because I wanted an alternative. I wanted a plan B. I wanted a way that I had ownership of my funds. I mean, we spend so much time working for money, and we sacrifice a lot, and we have to value it, and we have to take ownership. And so the people that work with me, I say, take ownership of the knowledge, make it yours. The information I give them, they make it theirs, and so they're independent. And so whether I'm here or not, they still should be able to produce. And so that's one of the goals, is that two people can have different opinions and still both be right. One person can go long in the market, one person can go short, and they both can win. And so once you have the vision, and once you see it, and once you know it's possible for yourself, and they built up their account. You take a small account, make it bigger, and you don't all of a sudden start trading bigger. You start saying that, hey, now it bought me more time. I have enough money where I can leave my job and now have more time. And now I have more decisions I can make to put myself in a better situation. Because some people, they come to you out of survival, and they're friends with you because they're surviving, right? And they need you for survival. Well, I want a bunch of people that's around because they're thriving. And this is where it takes them a transition to go from surviving to thriving. Most people that have a job, they don't have any hope. They know that they're going to be there. They don't have any options, and they're going to just work that job, and they're going to be happy with it. And other people are going to say, hey, I want to thrive, and I want to do something more. So the extra time I have after I'm done working the 9 to 5, I'm going to invest 2 or 3 hours in my knowledge and myself. And this is going to allow me to do the things I really want to do, and I don't have to be stuck here. And that is the transition of, hey, I put the time in, I deserve to win. I deserve it because I put the time in, I went through the stages, I built the foundation, I transitioned, not overnight. It took me 6 months, 7 months to leave a job I've been working at for 12 years. It took me a year or two to transition, and now I never have to go back. And that is the thing that, when guys come in, I say, hey, don't believe one person. When you come in an environment, ask the people around, and I tell them, you don't have to believe me, just go talk to the people that worked with me. And this is how you get clarification and validation, because you don't have to trust one person. If there's proof, there's multiple people. And
No,
so that's the thing, is that, I look for transformation, not just transactions.
I love it. I dropping bars. You guys are going to definitely go back and listen to this. Everybody type education in the chat because someone had asked me, and Barnaby, I'm going to ask you the same question. But someone had said, well, I really don't see any big difference. They have crypto and they have Forex, but they haven't been on any of our calls. And I'm like, the difference is we're not over here selling an overnight dream. And a lot of companies that have popped up, because I've been a part of those companies in the Forex and crypto space, it's all the get rich quick. You're selling everybody on come in and you could just make the money right away. That's when you know that that's probably the program you want to run from, because we're focused on the long term. We're focused on getting the education and having real people to talk to who really have our best interests at heart. You guys are not over here just trying to sell a dream to somebody. The only reason why you're over here because you don't need to be over here. You don't need the money from Vibe. You don't you're taking your time out, but you see the bigger picture that there are people who do want to get educated. So thank you for mentioning that, Jamar. The consistency and the education is what's going to be most important. So Barnaby, same question for you. Just do you have someone in the space that's been with you that has experienced kind of that financial breakthrough by applying what they've learned from you or just this industry?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I guess across my whole 30 years, I've been building tech and educating at different phases where I was doing massive educational programs. I was actually igniting people's passion in different areas. Some people became, they really blew up in social media because of the classes that they came to of mine. And others did it in actually just in becoming working with tech themselves. And they were able to basically just work from home. They wanted to be able, people that across multiple decades with me have changed their whole careers around. And more recently, like, yeah, if you go to the CFIRE, the cryptoisfire.ai website, you'll see the video testimonials of people. It was really gratifying in the last year having whole families where they didn't have to go to work anymore. They were able to live off the DeFi. So that's, and just touching upon that, like the DeFi, which is decentralized finance, and the yield generating that you can get off that. People earning over $100 a day just off that DeFi where there was no trading at all. And I'll touch upon like where Jamar mentioned, like, how both people can be saying something very different and both still be right. And so, yeah, even though in like the CFIRE, we do have a whole trading component, we can go and learn trading, but we also have in there a crypto wealth profile where you can actually do a personality test. Because guess what? Sadly, most people aren't cut out to be traders, and it's still a pivotal skill. I always say to everybody, two of the key skills that you want to learn is sales and how to read charts. You really want to get they're very different skills. But if you can learn those two things in life, if you talk to a young person, a teen, or in their 20s, yeah, see if you can learn sales and see if you can learn reading charts. But just because you learn to read the charts, that doesn't have to make you a trader. Because most people, it's a roller coaster. And so that's why I've built, while trading is part of CFIRE, I've really pushed it for the DeFi, where it's a sort of a very minimal 5 to 10 minutes a day, where you don't have to be doing the full analysis and getting in and out of trades, because that doesn't suit everybody. And that's why I added in the crypto wealth profiling, where you can do a test and see. But given that, it is still good to give it a go. You want to set up multiple streams of income and not just rely upon one person's method, because everything's going to be a bit different. And that's why in Vibe, where you get access to multiple strategies. But again, you don't want to get overwhelmed with doing all of them. So more about that later. So back over to you, Megan.
Well, I love what you guys are saying. I do have one more question for you because I know you're in Vegas, Jamar, and I know we're coming back here tonight. We're going to get a chance to meet a young lady who is in the AI Silicon Valley space that we're excited about. And I don't know if you guys are coming back. I always have you back, right, at 8 o'clock tonight. But I know everybody's doing stuff too. But my question for you guys, my last question, why do you believe though that platforms like Vibe are important for people who, feel or have felt left behind, or they're intimidated by tech, or, we have a membership, we have a pro and a legend membership. And I want to throw this out here. Our pro membership is $159 a month and $249 a month. But this is one piece, right? We have 7 pathways, and we have an education pathway that has Forex, crypto, sports betting, DeFi, it has personal development, it has a clinical, a young lady who is for a living, Courtney's wife does it for a living, where we can lay on the couch and talk with her and figure out how to get our mental together, because trading is mental as well. We got to kind of get over a lot of different things in our lives. But I know that you guys have, Jamar, charged way more than $159 a month to be connected to you
Right.
or Barnaby. And I don't want to always make it about the money, but it's about the value that we've created. We've put the best of the best all in one place. So I want to throw that out there. But why at this stage in you guys' career do you connect with a platform like Vibe that on the outside it looks like a network marketing company, but on the inside it's really an ecosystem for thriving, not surviving, right? I say it all the time. So why though at this stage do you stop to educate, in a
Um,
community like
I
Vibe?
mean, I'm just gonna say something. I'm gonna hop in here. I grew up in Oakland, and that was a place of survival. And I tell people every day, the best friends I ever had to pay for, and I had to buy. Right, I had to buy a different environment. I had to buy into environments that gave me new insight. And I had a mentor at one time, and he charged me 50% of everything I made for the entire year. And I was in real estate, but he charged me on everything that I got in my bank account, 50%. And that was the best investment I ever made. And so the relationships of having access to new people and having access to, I believe relationships is wealth. And so the more people I know, right, and the more people I help, the more I help myself. Because it's almost like when I'm actually teaching, I'm actually also reiterating what I believe. And that belief helps me get to the next level. And it also puts out, you make deposits in everybody you help. And it comes back to you in a variety of different ways. And so to me, having a community and being independent for so long, right, the relationships even become more important. So just the same way you reached out to me, Megan, to give me an opportunity, you see me back in 3, 4, 5 years ago, working with, director of education and Zia and having trading rehab. And it always comes back around. When you add value to people's lives, it comes back to you. And it's almost like a karmic, a law of karma, where, it circles back. And what you put out, you deserve to get back. And so that is, a way of life. It's a belief. And like I say, it's a lifestyle. So the more people you help, the more you help yourself as well. And it kind of sounds selfish, but it's the truth, right? The more people you help, the more people you inspire, the more blessings coming back to you. And so I think a platform like this, even for new people, it also inspires them, so they see the progress. And when they are having a time and they're struggling, they see someone else that join when they join, and they see them elevating, it gives them hope not to give up. And I really believe that as well.
Absolutely. And I'm excited because we added trading rehab. It's like a podcast. And when I heard that, this is the world that we live in right now. We live in the world of information. We live in the world where our biggest celebrities are like the what's his name? Kai, I forget what his name is. My son always shows him to me, and he's got 500,000 people listening to him. He's from Haiti, and he's one of the biggest influencers. He has now I'm plugging him and I'm not getting anything from, he has this streaming university where people want to learn how to be influencers. And the biggest influence is, like you said, Jamar, is our community around us and being
Right.
able to share the knowledge and not gatekeep. So I so appreciate it because I'm sure people have paid you way more than $3,000, right, for your information. And people can be over here for an entire year and get for $1,900 to $3,000 for the whole year when you take our membership. I really want you guys to put that in perspective on here, because you guys are on here, but some people may ask you, well, why am I paying $250 a month? For a year, that's $3,000. We will go and pay tens of thousands of dollars to take gym class in college, right? For the first year. I know because my daughter's graduating, and I'm like, why are we paying this much for a gym? Like, why are you taking gym and you're a fashion? But whatever. don't get me started. But I do want to say, like, I'm grateful that you're not gatekeeping and you want to share. So Barnaby, same question for you. Like, at this stage in your life, 33 years, you've been in the space since Bitcoin was 20 cents, right? Since you knew about Jamar, I don't know if you heard that story, but Bitcoin was 20 cents
Uh,
when Barnaby was like, nah.
we all had those stories.
I was at $200 at Bitcoin. I try not to think about it right now because I'm like, I'm not spending $200 on
Negan, on that point then, like, so, because you see, it's the narrative that we tell ourselves. It's the story that we tell ourselves every day, each one of us. Why are we even doing what we're doing? And when I reflect upon that one, obviously that was, you'd have to say, surely from one perspective, one of the biggest, if not the biggest mistake of my whole life. Clearly, you could sort of say that. But then you also break it down and you go, well, why was it like that? Why didn't I understand? And I'm very clear. I have the memory very distinctly in my mind in early 2011, when I was that particular day. You'd remember it, right? That morning when you're by yourself in your office and you're checking out, looking at Bitcoin, going to the bitcoin.org website. I was doing all that early 2011. And so, but what I was looking for was actually still my same passion for today. That's why I'm mentioning this, because what had me turn down Bitcoin that day in 2011 was that it was why it was the opportunity it was, because it had no payment rails. It had no integration into the world of e-commerce, which was my passion. You see, what I wanted to find a way to help all the people around the world be free economically using e-commerce. And Bitcoin back in 2011 couldn't do that function yet. Do you see why I missed it? I was like, but my passion for myself and my mission hasn't changed in 30 years. And so I see that actually I've reinvented that story for myself, where, I mean, I'm going to get a little bit out there, where it's actually God's way of showing me how to stay on track. You see, in order, if I had bought the 10,000 Bitcoin back in 2011 for like $5,000 and been a billionaire now, what might I have done? You see, firstly, could I have even held it all those 17 years? Maybe not, you see, and who might that have turned me into? So I see it as what it is that's keeping me sharp and on focus for the mission that I've actually been sent here to do. It's not about just being the billionaire that's gone and claimed all the funds. Because let me tell you a quick story. One of the guys I heard about, he was connected to me back in 2011. He was living on somebody's couch. No kidding, on somebody's couch. And he took the $1,000 that he had to his name and just bought all the Bitcoin that he could back in 2011. Well, he had a dream apparently of wanting to save the world. But what did he end up doing? He ended up moving into some country in South America and buying himself a mountain and just hiding from the world. You see? So just because we think that we want to help everybody, do the riches actually, not everybody does that. So that's my way of sort of saying, I'm trusting, I'm being guided. And I've had a great adventure, and I'm here to keep on delivering the tools that are going to set you free. And that's why I'm part of Vibe, because you're expanding that and I'm staying on track, because there is no retirement for me. This is just a one-way street of like, I want to just help everybody get on board because I'm already living the dream. I want to show you how to do the same thing.
I love that. And I thank you for sharing that, because it's all perspective. Do me a favor, everybody. Type some words in the chat that you heard these two phenomenal gentlemen say that stood out to you. I know perspective for me. I know consistency, education. Barnaby, I love the story because, I'm still growing. My family's still growing. The biggest fear that myself, my sister, and my two brothers had is that our whole family is inside of this platform. And we know how much education is important because we know how much income is going to roll. So we, as a family, have had multiple calls about who do we bring into the ecosystem to educate our kids, because money can jack up your direction. It can. If and it's not really the money that's doing it, it's the mindset. Like, your mind isn't ready yet. And I've said this to my kids, are you even ready to become a millionaire? Right? Because God's going to give you a little bit. I remember when my son was making 20,000 a month as an 18-year-old. Do you give a 18-year-old 20,000 a month plus a Hemi Challenger? Probably not. I can't even be mad at him. He would have done exactly what I did. I went and got a whole bunch of tickets and right. And because you got to grow with it. So this time around, my son is 23, my daughter is 18. We want to make sure that we have the right people to educate them about the finances and the technology. So I am so very grateful for the two of you guys. And as you can see them throwing some words in the chat, awesome. Education, help someone perspective, AI helping. You guys, they're living the dream. So here's where now the ball is in our court. You two are going to be over here inside a Vibe. It's up to everybody else to show up with their notebooks and to be excited about what they don't know. I'm so excited to get into your class and be like, I did not know that. Not go get in there like, oh, this is too hard. I don't understand. I mean, I taught English for God's sake. I was Romeo and Juliet, Shakespeare, iambic pentameter. Who cares? Nobody cares about iambic pentameter. You probably don't even know what it is, and you're never going to use it in life. This is the education that I've been so excited for people to learn. So, Barnaby, Jamar, do you have one last word before we hop off this call? Anything you want to tell the people about anything before we hop off?
Jamar.
I'll let you go first. I'm thinking right now.
I think it's basically that it's never too late to start. That's been a bit of a theme today. One little quick story with that is that it's a bit of a reset. Maybe I mentioned it last time as well, where for sure, there are children right now, or let's even say young teens, like a 14-year-old right now, who in less than 10 years is going to be a millionaire in one of these fields, just one of them that Vibe is teaching. Okay. And here you are. You just think about how old you are and how much more smarts actually you have than that 14-year-old. But you know that there will be some of them who will be millionaires in less than a decade. So what's stopping you right now? Because you're already ahead of the game. You're already an adult right now, and they're going to make it, but they're going to make it in the 2030s. Do you have time? No. Let's make it happen right now.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. Right now, read The Power of Now. That's one of my favorite books. The Power of Now. Nothing will ever happen in the future. It only happens in the now. Nothing ever will happen in the past. You only have at 2:17 right now is the only time that really exists right now. Time is an illusion. So, Jamar, you want to add anything before we go?
Yeah, I think we have a short amount of time on Earth, and while you're here, I think hanging on our purpose and passion. I think a lot of people they forget the dream and have a purpose and passion. And when it comes to having like money, it's like sometimes I feel if you have a good purpose and passion, you deserve to have it because you're going to be a good steward of it, and you're going to do well with it. And so having time and opportunity to create experiences and memories for your family and yourself. I think that is another thing we got to get back to is, enjoying what we do. And, I really love trading. I love, empowering people. And that is something that we all can, hang our hat on and say, hey, I deserve to have success because I'm going to do well with it. And I think that is, something where the education, when you're studying, you're investing in yourself, in your knowledge, in the progress of your people, you want to empower that in and say, hey, this is what it's about, giving me more time to do things I'm really passionate about. And I have purpose, whether it's taking care of your family, raising your kids, hold on to that dream of what life is really about for you. It's not just the financial aspect. It's about the experience of doing the things you really love and enjoy.
Absolutely. Well, listen, you enjoy Vegas. Go to the Golden Steer for me because I was just in Vegas and that Golden Steer is delicious. Didn't have to wait in line too long either. Have you been there? They have those big, ginormous lobsters and steaks.
No, the Golden Spear?
The Golden Steer. It's off the strip, and look it up on Instagram. We're delicious. But anyways, enjoy the World Series with your daughter. That's what it's all about. That's why we work hard. Barnaby, thank you so much. I know that you are living the dream right now, and we cannot wait to dive into CFIRE. It's going to be, guys, on our direct sales side, and I'm sure you know, you guys are going to get a chance to listen to the, it's trading rehab. Is that right, Jamar? I always get the name wrong.
Yes, ma'am. Train rehab.
Yes, it's a podcast, so we're adding it into the ecosystem for you guys inside of the education, so you don't have to pay extra for it or anything. And we got Jamar to come over, so that's great. So, and it's a great, fun time. I had so much fun listening to it,
Yeah.
Jamar. You and
It's a lot of entertainment.
it is. It is. I mean, yeah, you could just, I was laughing and learning, and it was phenomenal. So thank you to the two of you. I'm not quite sure. Are you guys coming back tonight, or is that just Orfana?
I'm gonna try. I'm in Vegas. I've been at the Cosmo. I've been hanging out. You know,
Hey.
we live in the time of our life after 5 o'clock.
No, yeah. So listen, we may not want to see you after that time. So you guys enjoy. I know we have a young lady coming on today who is Silicon Valley AI, so we'll record it. But thank you so much. Have a great time. Be safe out there, Jamar, and we can't wait to be in both of your classes.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
All
Thanks,
right.
Jamar.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
See
you.
ya.